Welcome back. Imagine holding a piece of history so small it fits in your pocket, yet so significant that collectors pay hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars for it. Today, we're diving into one of America's most fascinating coins, the 1964 D. Lincoln penny. It's a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, yet carries stories of the past, moments of change, and a value that can surprise even the most seasoned collectors. By the end of this video, you might find yourself checking your own coin jar to see if you've stumbled upon a hidden treasure. The 1964 D. Lincoln penny is a 1-cent coin from the United States, featuring the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the front, or obverse, and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the back, or reverse. The D mint mark below the date indicates it was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the nation's key coin-producing facilities. While pennies are often overlooked in everyday life, the 1964 D penny carries a unique blend of historical significance and collectible intrigue that makes it stand out. To understand why this coin matters, let's step back to the year 1964. The United States was experiencing rapid change. The Civil Rights Act was passed, the Beatles were about to invade America's music scene, and the economy was shifting in the post-war era. Against this backdrop, the U.S. Mint was producing coins to meet everyday demand, and pennies were no exception. Millions were struck, but a few details make the 1964 D. Lincoln penny noteworthy. The design of the penny, which had been introduced in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday, was already over half a century old by 1964. Lincoln's profile on the obverse was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, and the reverse, featuring the Lincoln Memorial, had been added in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The 1964 D penny continued this classic design, yet it holds distinctions that make collectors pay attention. One of the most significant features of the 1964 D penny is its composition. Up until 1962, pennies were made of a mix of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. In 1964, the composition remained largely the same, meaning the coin carries a rich copper weight that gives it a distinctive feel. Copper pennies have a warm, reddish-brown color that dulls over time, and this natural aging process can add charm and sometimes value to the coin. Errors and variations also play a key role in a coin's appeal, and the 1964 D is no exception. While not as error-prone as some other years, collectors still search for pennies with double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual mint marks. For instance, a double die can make the letters or numbers on the coin appear slightly shadowed or thicker, which is highly prized among numismatists. Even subtle variations can mean the difference between a common coin and a valuable 1.so. Why is the 1964 D. Lincoln penny considered rare or valuable today? The answer lies in a combination of age, condition, and collector demand. While millions were minted, surviving coins in pristine condition, those without scratches, wear, or discoloration are relatively scarce. Coin grading plays a major role in determining value. A coin graded as uncirculated or near perfect by a professional service can fetch a premium, while a worn example might remain just another penny in your pocket. Real-world auction results illustrate just how collectible this coin can be. For example, high-grade 1964 D pennies have sold for several $100s, with particularly flawless examples commanding even more. Coins with verified errors, such as doubling or unusual striking marks, have been known to reach over $1,000 in collector markets. Even casual collectors keep an eye out for these coins because they represent a tangible connection to history and, occasionally, a significant investment. Identifying a real 1964 D. Lincoln penny is straightforward if you know what to look for. First, check the mint mark below the date. It should be a clear capital D for Denver. The coin should weigh about 3.11 grams and have a diameter of 19 millimeters. Copper pennies develop a distinctive reddish-brown or brownish-orange tone over time, which is difficult to replicate perfectly in fakes. Additionally, the details in Lincoln's face and the memorial should be sharp, not blurry or inconsistent. For those concerned about counterfeit coins, professional grading services can provide authentication and peace of mind. Now let's explore some fun facts that make the 1964 D penny even more intriguing. Unlike earlier pennies, the 1964 series was produced during a time of transition in American coinage. The following year, in 1965, the mint would begin experimenting with different alloys due to rising copper prices, making the 1964 pennies some of the last large copper coins in circulation. Many collectors prize them not just for their face value, but for being a last link to an era of solid copper coins. Another surprising detail is that some of these pennies were struck with particularly sharp dies, creating coins with incredible luster and depth, almost like miniature pieces of art. Collectors love the 1964 Lincoln penny today for more than just its potential monetary value. It represents a snapshot of mid-20th century America, a tangible piece of history that has survived the decades. Its classic design evokes nostalgia, while the possibility of discovering a rare error or an uncirculated specimen keeps the thrill alive. Whether displayed in a collection or simply examined under a magnifying glass, these pennies connect us to a time when Abraham Lincoln's legacy was commemorated in everyday life and coins were more than just currency. They were keepsakes. Some collectors even enjoy the detective work involved. Tracking down a high-grade 1964 penny often means searching through rolls of coins, sorting through circulation, and learning to recognize subtle details that differentiate the ordinary from the extraordinary. It's a combination of history, art, and a little bit of treasure hunting. This hands-on experience, along with the excitement of possibly owning a coin worth hundreds of dollars, makes the 1964 Lincoln penny a perennial favorite in the numismatic world. As we wrap up, consider this. The next time you dig through your change or peek into an old coin jar, you might be holding more than just a penny. You could be holding a story from 1964, a story that traveled through time, survived countless hands, and still shines with historical and collectible value. The 1964 Lincoln penny reminds us that even the smallest objects can carry the largest stories. And in the world of coins, sometimes the tiniest details make all the difference. So, take a moment to look closely at your pennies. Check the mint mark, the weight, the color, and the detail. One of these ordinary coins might just be extraordinary. And remember, the thrill of collecting isn't only in owning a rare coin. It's in discovering the stories and secrets hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to find them. The next great find could be in your pocket, and maybe, just maybe, a 1964 Lincoln penny could be waiting to surprise you. This coin is more than metal and design. It's a bridge to the past, a testament to craftsmanship, and a reminder that history is everywhere, even in the smallest copper disc in your hand. Keep your eyes open, keep searching, and let the story welcome back. Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in your hand, a coin that most people pass by without a second thought, yet in the right hands it can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Today, we're talking about a coin that seems ordinary at first glance, yet has captured the fascination of collectors and historians alike. The 1968 Mint Mark Lincoln penny. This little copper disc has a story, a history, and a value that goes far beyond its 1-cent face. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see why this penny is much more than pocket change. The 1968 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of 1-cent coins featuring Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. By 1968, the Lincoln penny had already gone through decades of design adjustments and metal composition changes, but it continued to carry the same dignity and iconic imagery that had made it an American staple for generations. What makes the 1968 penny distinct is not just the year or the mint mark, but the combination of history, subtle variations, and collector appeal that has grown over the decades. To understand why this coin matters, it helps to step back and consider the context of 1968 in the United States. It was a year of turmoil and change. The country was facing social unrest, political upheaval, and a shifting economy. In the midst of all this, the U.S. Mint continued its work, producing coins that would circulate in the pockets of everyday Americans. The Mint mark on this penny indicates that it was struck at the San Francisco Mint, which often produced coins in smaller quantities compared to Philadelphia and Denver, making many of its issues slightly rarer by default. The 1968 Lincoln penny was struck primarily from a bronze composition, which at that time was 95% copper, with the remaining 5% made up of tin and zinc. This bronze composition had been standard for Lincoln cents since 1909, except for a brief interruption in 1943 when steel pennies were produced due to copper shortages during World War II. The obverse of the coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile is crisp and dignified, showing every detail from his beard to the lines of his face. The reverse, at that time, displayed the familiar wheat ears design, though by 1959 the wheat reverse had been replaced by the Lincoln Memorial, so the 1968 penny carries the memorial design on the back, a tribute to Lincoln's enduring legacy. Collectors are particularly interested in the 1968 penny because of a few subtle characteristics that can make a coin stand out. While most 1968 pennies were struck normally, some coins from the San Francisco Mint were produced with exceptionally sharp detail, a result of careful die polishing and high-quality striking. A few errors have also been reported over the years, including double dies, repunched mint marks, and slight variations in lettering, which can dramatically increase a coin's desirability. These anomalies are rare, but they do exist, and they create opportunities for collectors to find a coin that is more than just a piece of copper and metal. It becomes a piece of history. Value is always a fascinating topic when it comes to coins, and the 1968 Lincoln penny has a nuanced market. For a standard circulated coin in average condition, it might be worth just a few cents above face value. However, coins that are in uncirculated condition, showing no wear and exhibiting full mint luster, can sell for several dollars or more. The real excitement comes when you find one with a notable error or exceptional quality. For example, a 1968 penny with a doubled die on the obverse sold at auction for several $100s, while a particularly pristine proof version from the San Francisco Mint can fetch even higher prices among dedicated collectors. The market is driven by scarcity, condition, and historical significance, making even a small penny a target for those who appreciate both numismatic and historical value. Identifying a genuine 1968 penny is surprisingly straightforward if you know what to look for. The first clue is the mint mark itself, a small S located just below the date on the obverse. Coins from Philadelphia will have no mint mark, while those from Denver bear a D. The color and weight of the coin are also indicators. The bronze composition has a warm, reddish-brown hue, and a typical penny weighs around 3.11 grams. A coin that is too light, too shiny in a metallic way, or has a poorly struck mint mark may be a counterfeit or a modern reproduction. Close examination with a magnifying glass or loupe can reveal details like die cracks, doubled lettering, or other subtle features that confirm authenticity. Collectors often study coins carefully under strong lighting because the tiniest variation can make a significant difference in value. There are also fun details that make this coin more interesting than it first appears. For example, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse is rendered with remarkable detail, including tiny columns that are so finely etched that they can be difficult to see without magnification. Inside the memorial, a miniature Lincoln statue is depicted, an incredibly tiny nod to the real monument in Washington, D.C. These small touches reflect the artistry and craftsmanship of coin design, and they are a reminder that even something as common as a penny can be a miniature work of art. Some collectors even enjoy the historical connections. This coin was minted in a year when Neil Armstrong would later walk on the moon, a time of profound change and progress in American history. Holding a coin from that year can feel like holding a small piece of that moment. Collectors love the 1968 Lincoln penny for many reasons. It represents a link to the past, a tangible connection to American history and culture. Its relatively low mintage compared to other pennies of the era makes it desirable, and the potential for errors or unique examples adds an element of treasure hunting that is deeply appealing. Unlike some coins that are valuable purely because they are rare, the 1968 penny combines scarcity, quality, and historical significance, making it both a smart investment and a rewarding collectible. People enjoy hunting through old rolls, finding one in circulation, and knowing that this tiny object has outlasted decades and witnessed the changes of American life and the world of coin collecting. Every detail matters. The way the light reflects off the coin's surface, the sharpness of Lincoln's beard, the crispness of the mint mark, even minor scratches or discoloration, all contribute to how collectors assess and appreciate the coin. It's a hobby that combines history, art, and the thrill of discovery. And the 1968 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of why so many people are drawn to numismatics. Whether it's stored carefully in a holder, displayed in a collection, or occasionally examined with a magnifying glass, Each coin tells a story that goes far beyond its 1-cent denomination, so next time you come across a 1968 Lincoln penny, don't dismiss it as just a coin. It carries the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, the skill of the San Francisco Mint, and the potential to surprise even the most seasoned collector. Perhaps there's a rare double die waiting to be discovered, or an uncirculated gem that has been overlooked for decades. In every pocket, drawer, or coin roll, history might be hiding in plain sight. The next time you hold one, think about the year it was made, the people who used it, and the stories it has silently witnessed. This little coin may only be worth a penny to most, but to those who see its value, it is priceless. As we close, consider this. Every coin has a story, and the 1968 Lincoln penny is no exception. Whether you're a collector searching for the next rare find, or simply someone curious about the objects we use every day, this penny offers a window into the past, a connection to history, and a hint of mystery waiting to be uncovered. Keep your eyes open, your hands ready, and remember that even the smallest object can carry the weight of centuries. You never know when you might stumble upon a coin that changes the way you see everyday history, right in the palm of your hand. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance, just a small piece of copper, a penny. But then, as you turn it over, you realize it might be something far more special. Something that could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of one of the most intriguing coins in American history, the 1969 Lincoln penny, a coin that has puzzled collectors, inspired treasure hunts, and continues to capture imaginations decades after it was minted. The 1969 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, which has been in circulation since 1909. This penny, like every Lincoln cent, features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse or front of the coin. On the reverse, we see the familiar Lincoln Memorial design, which had been used since 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. At first glance, it might look like any other penny you have in your wallet. But the story behind this particular 1969 coin is anything but ordinary. The year 1969 was a fascinating moment in American history. The country was going through significant social and cultural changes. The Apollo 11 mission had just landed humans on the moon, the Vietnam War was ongoing, and on the streets, music, fashion, and politics were evolving rapidly. Amid all this, the United States Mint continued producing coins, including the Lincoln cent, which had already been a staple of American currency for 60 years. The 1969 penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by the small D mint mark under the date on the front of the coin. The coin is composed of a copper core with a thin layer of copper nickel, giving it that familiar reddish-brown appearance. The obverse features Lincoln's right-facing profile, a design created by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo. For most pennies from this era, these features are standard, but what makes the 1969 penny extraordinary are the rare varieties and errors that emerged during production. One of the most famous and sought-after versions is the 1969 double die penny. A double die occurs when the coin's design is accidentally stamped twice during production, causing certain elements, like the date or lettering, to appear doubled or shadowed. On the 1969 penny, the doubling is most noticeable in the date itself and the word Liberty on the front. This error is extremely rare and highly coveted because the Denver Mint only produced a limited number, making it one of the classic error coins that every serious collector dreams of finding. So why is this coin so valuable? The rarity of the double die 1969 penny drives its worth. While a regular 1969 penny might be worth only a few cents to a collector, the double die variety can sell for thousands of dollars, depending on its condition. Coins in uncirculated or mint condition can fetch significantly higher prices. The story of these pennies has made headlines in the numismatic world, with collectors sharing tales of finding one tucked away in jars or forgotten drawers, only to discover they had stumbled upon a potential treasure. Real auction results confirm the excitement. In recent years, verified 1969 double die pennies have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auction. One notable example was a coin graded in near-mint condition that sold for over $100,000. These sales illustrate not only the monetary value but also the historical and collectible importance of the coin. Each sale reinforces the mystique surrounding this seemingly ordinary penny and underscores why collectors continue to seek it out relentlessly. Identifying a genuine 1969 D double die penny is critical because fakes exist. The key is careful observation. A true double die will have distinct doubling in the date and lettering, visible even to the naked eye or under a magnifying glass. The doubling should appear as a second, slightly offset image, not just a shadow or scratch. Collectors are advised to compare suspected coins with verified examples or consult professional grading services to confirm authenticity. Handling these coins with care is also important, as cleaning or damaging them can drastically reduce their value. Beyond the rarity and value, the 1969 D Lincoln penny holds surprising details that make it even more fascinating. For instance, some coins from that year exhibit unusual die cracks or minor imperfections that occurred during minting, each telling a story about the production process. The minting errors of this era provide a glimpse into the complex and human process behind coin production, reminding us that even in a world of machines, mistakes can create opportunities for collectors and enthusiasts. Collectors love this coin not just for its potential monetary value, but for the thrill of the hunt and the story it tells. Each penny is a small piece of American history, linking us to a particular moment in time. Holding a 1969 D penny, especially a double die variety, is like holding a connection to the Denver Mint and the mint workers who produced it, as well as the broader historical context of 1969. It's an intersection of art, history, and chance that makes numismatics so captivating. Fun facts about the 1969 D Lincoln penny continue to emerge. Some coins from this year show differences in the depth of the design, variations in the copper-nickel plating, and subtle details that can reveal where a coin was struck within the mint. These nuances keep collectors studying, comparing, and learning, making every discovery exciting. The coin is more than just currency. It's a puzzle, a challenge, and a story waiting to be uncovered. Even today, decades after its creation, the 1969 D Lincoln penny continues to inspire curiosity. New collectors and old enthusiasts alike search through rolls of pennies, hoping to stumble upon the elusive double die. Stories of lucky finds abound, from coins discovered in forgotten jars to those unearthed in the most unexpected places. The allure of this coin lies not just in the potential financial reward but in the narrative it carries, the idea that something ordinary can hold extraordinary secrets. So the next time you hold a 1969 D penny in your hand, take a closer look. Examine the date, study the lettering, and imagine the journey this coin has taken from the Denver Mint to your fingertips. What may appear to be just a simple penny could very well be a hidden treasure with a story stretching back more than 50 years. The 1969 D Lincoln penny reminds us that sometimes, the smallest objects can carry the biggest stories, waiting for someone with curiosity, patience, and a keen eye to uncover them. And as you set it down, consider this. Somewhere, in a drawer, a jar, or even under a floorboard, another 1969 D penny may be waiting to reveal its secrets, to surprise its finder, and to ignite the same fascination that has kept collectors captivated for decades. The hunt for this coin is never truly over, and the next remarkable discovery could be just a roll of pennies away. What stories are hidden in the pennies you pass by every day? Could the next treasure be in your pocket right now? The 1969 D Lincoln penny is more than metal and date. It's history, mystery, and a symbol of the unexpected wonders that can be found in the most ordinary places. Keep your eyes open, your curiosity alive, and you may just hold a piece of American numismatic history in your hand. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that most people pass by without a second thought, yet it could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars to the right collector. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing and often overlooked coins in American history, the 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks just like any other penny in your pocket. But hidden in plain sight is a story of history, design, and rare value that few truly understand. If you've ever wondered how an ordinary coin could suddenly become extraordinary, this story is for you. The 1978 Lincoln penny, officially called the Lincoln cent, is part of a series that has been in circulation for over a century. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, has graced the front of the penny since 1909, marking the centennial of his birth. For decades, collectors and everyday Americans alike have carried these small pieces of history, often unaware of their potential significance. The 1978 issue is particularly fascinating because it represents a transitional period in U.S. coinage, a time when pennies were made primarily for everyday use, yet subtle variations and errors began to capture the attention of numismatists across the country. So, what exactly is a 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark? Typically, coins minted in Philadelphia are struck without a mint mark, while coins from Denver carry a D, and those from San Francisco, S. This simple detail, the absence of a mint mark, may seem trivial, but for collectors, it tells a story about where and how the coin was produced. In 1978, millions of pennies were struck across different mints, yet a small percentage of them have become highly sought after due to unusual features or errors during production. The history of the 1978 penny is closely tied to the economic and technological context of the time. The late 1970s in America was a period marked by inflation, rising copper prices, and an increased focus on the efficiency of coin production. The Lincoln cent, still composed primarily of copper with a small amount of tin and zinc, continued to be a workhorse of American currency. Unlike earlier pennies that occasionally carried special designs or experimental features, the 1978 penny largely maintained the familiar image of Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. However, even in a year that seemed ordinary, subtle errors and variations could turn a standard penny into a prized collectible. Let's take a closer look at the unique features of this coin. The obverse, or front, showcases Abraham Lincoln's profile, facing right. This design, created by Victor David Brenner in 1909, remains one of the most recognized images in American numismatics. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial appears, a symbol of unity and remembrance. For the 1978 penny, most coins were struck in Philadelphia, hence the absence of a mint mark. The metal composition is approximately 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gives the coin its characteristic reddish-brown hue. But beyond the obvious, there are subtle variations that make some of these pennies stand out. Die cracks, doubling of the lettering, and slight differences in the relief can all make a 1978 penny far more valuable than a standard one. Why is the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny considered rare or valuable? The rarity doesn't come from the year itself, millions were minted, but from specific production quirks and errors that occurred during the minting process. For example, some coins show what collectors call a double die, where the design is accidentally impressed twice, causing the lettering or images to appear doubled. Others may have tiny planchet flaws or metal inconsistencies that make them unique. Because these errors are not obvious to the casual observer, they can remain unnoticed in circulation for decades, only to surface years later in collections or estate sales. The rarity is also amplified by condition. A penny that has remained uncirculated, with no wear or scratches, can be exponentially more valuable than one that has been handled extensively. Real-world examples highlight just how significant these pennies can be in the collector market. A well-preserved 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny with a notable double die or other errors can sell for hundreds, sometimes even over $1,000 at auction. In private sales, experienced collectors pay close attention to the smallest details: the sharpness of the relief, the depth of the letters, and even subtle variations in color or texture. While a standard circulated 1978 penny might be worth its face value, those with verified errors can suddenly become a centerpiece in a numismatic collection. Auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers have recorded sales where such pennies fetched prices that far exceeded expectations, proving that even a seemingly ordinary coin can command extraordinary value. For those interested in identifying a genuine 1978 no-mint mark penny, there are a few key steps to follow. First, verify the absence of a mint mark on the obverse, just below the date. Next, examine the coin's surface for any signs of doubling or unusual markings. Using a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe can help spot tiny die cracks or irregularities. Weight and composition can also provide clues, though most genuine 1978 pennies are standard in size and metal content. For collectors, patience and careful observation are critical. Mistaking a modern reproduction or counterfeit for a rare penny can be costly, so consulting reputable coin guides or professional grading services is often recommended. Beyond its value, the 1978 no-mint mark penny holds a number of fun and surprising details. For instance, did you know that this coin was produced during the height of the Lincoln Memorial Penny series, which lasted from 1959 to 2008? That means the 1978 penny is part of a long lineage connecting generations of Americans through a simple, everyday object. Another interesting fact is that some pennies from this era were accidentally struck with slight off-center designs or variations in the color of the copper plating, adding an unexpected layer of uniqueness. These quirks make each coin a small window into the workings of the U.S. Mint and the imperfections that naturally occur in mass production. Collectors love the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny for a variety of reasons. It represents a blend of history, artistry, and the thrill of discovery. Unlike coins with obvious rarity, these pennies reward careful observation and knowledge, turning an ordinary piece of currency into a hidden treasure. They connect collectors to a broader narrative about American history, economy, and craftsmanship. Owning one is not just about monetary value. It's about participating in a tradition of curiosity, care, and appreciation for the small details that make history tangible. Many collectors take pride in hunting down pennies like this, knowing that even a coin minted in seemingly ordinary times can hold extraordinary significance. As we wrap up, consider this. The next time you reach into your welcome back, imagine holding a tiny piece of history in the palm of your hand, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, yet holds a story that spans decades and can capture the fascination of collectors around the world. Today, we're diving into one of America's most familiar yet intriguing coins, the 1979 Lincoln penny. It might look like any other penny from your pocket change, but beneath its coppery surface lies a tale of design, production, and the subtle quirks that make it a collectible gem. The 1979 Lincoln penny, struck at the Denver Mint, is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series that first appeared in 1909. This coin features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has endured for over a century. It may seem like just another small copper coin, but for those who study coins or numismatists, every detail tells a story. The D mint mark indicates it was produced in Denver, one of the key mints that helped supply pennies to circulation across the United States. To understand the significance of the 1979 D penny, it helps to step back and look at the context of the time. The late 1970s were a transitional period for American coinage. The penny was still predominantly composed of copper, though rising metal costs were beginning to influence production decisions. In 1979, the Lincoln cent was made of a 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy, the same formula that had been used since 1962. This composition gives the coin its familiar reddish-brown color, which collectors often admire, especially when it remains in uncirculated condition. The design of the 1979 D penny carries the legacy of Victor David Brenner, the original designer of the Lincoln cent. The obverse shows Lincoln's profile, a solemn and dignified image, with the word Liberty and the date clearly inscribed. On the reverse, the iconic Lincoln Memorial replaces the earlier wheat ears that had appeared on the original 1909 coins. This memorial design was introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday and remained in use until 2008. Every tiny detail on the coin, from the intricate steps of the memorial to the lettering, tells a story of American history and artistry. While most 1979 D pennies are common and circulated widely, certain factors make some specimens stand out to collectors. One of the most fascinating aspects is the existence of mint errors. For example, a small number of 1979 D pennies exhibit doubling on the date or on the word Liberty. These so-called double die coins occur when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during production, creating a subtle but visible doubling effect. While not every coin has this error, those that do are highly sought after by collectors and can command significantly higher prices. Other errors might include off-center strikes, weak impressions, or die cracks, each telling its own story about the minting process. Even beyond errors, the 1979 D penny can be valuable depending on its condition. Circulated coins, which show the normal wear and tear of everyday use, are generally worth only a few cents above face value. However, uncirculated coins, which have never been used and retain their original luster, can be worth several dollars to collectors. Coins that have been graded by professional services, such as PCGS or NGC, and receive high grades, often reach premium prices in auctions. For instance, a pristine 1979 D penny with a perfect strike and rich color might sell for $20 to $50, and in rare cases with exceptional errors, even hundreds. These values may not seem astronomical compared to other rare coins, but for a modern penny, they represent a remarkable opportunity for collectors. Knowing how to identify an authentic 1979 D penny is essential for collectors and casual enthusiasts alike. Start by examining the mint mark. The D should be crisp, positioned just below the date. Look closely at the coin's surface. Genuine pennies have subtle details that fakes often miss. The texture, weight, and even the sound of the coin when dropped can offer clues. For error coins, the doubling should be clear under magnification but appear naturally as part of the minting process, not artificially added. Reputable dealers and grading services are always the safest sources when verifying rare examples. One fun fact about the 1979 D penny is that it represents a period when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies each year. Yet even in such high volume, mint errors and high-grade specimens managed to stand out. It's fascinating to consider that among millions of these coins, a handful may have features that make them unique or historically significant. For collectors, finding one of these exceptional coins is a bit like discovering a hidden gem in plain sight. The subtle differences that separate an ordinary penny from a valuable one are what make coin collecting a hobby of observation, patience, and discovery. Collectors today appreciate the 1979 D penny not just for its monetary value, but for its connection to history and the tactile experience of holding a piece of America in their hands. It's a coin that bridges generations, a tangible link to the past, and a reminder that even everyday objects can carry stories worth preserving. The appeal lies in its simplicity and the excitement of discovery. Finding a rare error, an uncirculated specimen, or even just a beautifully preserved penny can spark joy and curiosity, keeping the hobby vibrant and engaging. In conclusion, the 1979 D Lincoln penny may seem modest, but it embodies layers of history, artistry, and intrigue. From its design honoring one of America's greatest presidents to the rare errors that can make it highly desirable, this small coin offers a window into the story of U.S. coinage. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone who simply enjoys the thrill of uncovering hidden value, the 1979 D penny has something to offer. Next time you reach for a penny, take a moment to examine it closely. You never know. You might be holding a tiny piece of history that has traveled through decades and carries the quiet promise of discovery. And perhaps, just perhaps, that ordinary coin in your hand holds an extraordinary story waiting to be uncovered. Welcome back. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that millions of Americans pass through their fingers without thinking. Yet a few of these small, copper-colored discs have quietly captured the fascination of collectors and treasure hunters alike. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing coins of the 1980s, the 1986 D Lincoln penny. On the surface, it might look like any ordinary penny from your pocket change, but beneath that familiar copper sheen lies a story that connects history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery. The 1986 D Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1986, the penny had been in circulation for nearly 8 decades, and its design was so familiar that most people never gave it a second thought. Yet, the 1986 edition stands out in subtle but fascinating ways, both to numismatists, coin collectors, and to casual observers curious about American history. To understand the significance of this penny, we need to consider its historical backdrop. The United States in 1986 was a nation in transition. Ronald Reagan was in his second term as president, the economy was recovering from a recession, and technological advances were beginning to shape daily life. Coins, often overlooked in this context, were quietly evolving too. The U.S. Mint, responsible for producing billions of coins each year, faced challenges in maintaining quality, while also meeting enormous demand. The 1986 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D beneath the date, and it was part of a production run that saw hundreds of millions of pennies released into circulation. While the 1986 D Lincoln penny may appear ordinary at first glance, its uniqueness comes from a combination of design, metal composition, and subtle errors that can make it valuable to collectors. This penny features the classic Lincoln profile designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that had graced American pennies for nearly 80 years by this point. On the obverse or front, you'll see Lincoln's bust facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" arching above and "Liberty" along the left side, followed by the date and mint mark on the right. The reverse, often called the back, showcases the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in place since 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Tiny details, from the columns of the memorial to the steps at its base, are sharply etched, though on circulated coins, these details often soften with wear. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1986 D penny is its composition. Unlike older pennies that were primarily made of copper, by 1982 the U.S. Mint had shifted to a copper-plated zinc composition due to rising copper prices. This means that the 1986 D penny is composed of 97.5% zinc with only a thin copper coating. This subtle change in metal content affects everything from the coin's weight to its color, and even the way it reacts to chemical tests or accidental scratches. For collectors, knowing the metal composition is key, because it can help distinguish genuine coins from altered or counterfeit pieces. Errors also add an extra layer of intrigue to this coin. While most 1986 D pennies were struck perfectly, some coins emerged with minting errors that make them highly sought after today. One common error is the double die, where the date or lettering appears slightly doubled when examined under magnification. Another is a weak strike, where the Lincoln profile or the lettering seems faint or uneven. These quirks are rare, and even minor imperfections can significantly boost a coin's value among collectors. Speaking of value, the 1986 D penny isn't typically worth millions like some older rare coins, but its market value can still be surprising, especially in uncirculated condition or with certain errors. A standard circulated 1986 D penny may be worth only a few cents above face value. However, uncirculated examples, graded by professional services as MS-65 or higher, can fetch several dollars, sometimes even $10 to $20 if the luster is intact and there are no blemishes. Coins with notable errors, like a double die or a striking anomaly, have been known to sell for $50, $100, or even more at auctions, proving that careful observation and patience can pay off. Identifying a genuine 1986 D penny is easier than you might think, but it requires attention to detail. Start by examining the mint mark. The D should be clear and sharply struck beneath the date. The edges of the coin should be smooth but consistent, without signs of tampering or filing. The weight is another giveaway. A genuine 1986 D penny weighs 2.5 grams, thanks to its zinc core. The color should show a thin, even copper coating, which can fade over time on circulated coins. Magnification can reveal the fine details of Lincoln's profile, the inscriptions, and the columns of the memorial, tiny clues that help distinguish an authentic coin from a fake or a heavily altered one. Beyond the technical details, there are some surprising facts that make the 1986 D penny particularly engaging. For example, even though millions were minted, the coin is less recognized today among younger collectors, which sometimes allows careful searchers to find valuable uncirculated examples in rolls or old jars. Also, while the penny is often dismissed as the least valuable U.S. coin in everyday terms, its historical context, produced in the 1980s during a period of economic change, makes it a small yet tangible link to a specific moment in American history. Every scratch, dent, or shine tells a story of circulation, commerce, and daily life across neighborhoods and decades. Collectors love the 1986 D Lincoln penny not only for its potential value but for the way it connects them to history. Holding one in your hand is like holding a piece of the 1980s, a tangible reminder of the era's culture, economy, and everyday life. Some collectors focus on building complete sets by year and mint mark, striving for perfection in uncirculated coins. Others chase errors, enjoying the thrill of spotting a double die or an unusual strike. In all cases, the 1986 D penny represents the intersection of art, history, and detective work, a small object that offers endless fascination. If you're exploring your coin collection or even checking loose change at home, it's worth keeping an eye out for the 1986 D Lincoln penny. It may look ordinary, but with careful observation, you might uncover something extraordinary. Even the faintest glint, the sharpest detail, or an unusual feature can spark curiosity and perhaps even a financial surprise. Collectors across the country continue to seek these coins, and the story of the 1986 D penny reminds us that every coin has a journey, a hidden story, and a connection to the past that is waiting to be discovered. So next time you handle a penny, pause for a moment. Look at the date, the mint mark, the design, and think about the history it represents. The 1986 D Lincoln penny may not shout its significance, but for those who know where to look, it offers a small window into America's past and a quiet thrill of discovery. Who knows? Among the change in your pocket or the loose coins in a jar, the next remarkable find could be hiding right under your fingertips, waiting for you to notice it. The story of this humble coin teaches us that even the most everyday objects can hold secrets, value, and historical significance. It encourages curiosity, careful observation, and a little bit of detective work. In the world of coins, patience and attention often pay off, revealing treasures where most people see nothing more than a familiar copper disc. The 1986 D Lincoln penny reminds us that history is everywhere, sometimes in the smallest and most overlooked places, waiting for someone to uncover its story. And as you continue to explore, remember that each coin has its own tale, a whisper from the past that can connect us to moments long gone. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who simply enjoys the thrill of discovery, the 1986 D penny stands as a symbol of what makes coin collecting endlessly fascinating. The hidden stories, the subtle details, and the surprises that can appear in the most unexpected places. Keep your eyes sharp, your curiosity alive, and your hands ready, because the next remarkable find could be just a coin away. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of Americans pass by every day, yet few truly notice. A small copper disc, barely larger than a thumbnail, that quietly carries a story over 3 decades old. Today, we're diving into the world of the 1992 D Lincoln penny, a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but has quietly captured the attention of collectors and enthusiasts across the country. By the end of this video, you might start looking at your own pennies a little differently. The 1992 D Lincoln penny is a piece of everyday American history. Officially called the Lincoln cent, it bears the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, on its obverse. The D mint mark indicates that it was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the nation's primary coin-making facilities. While billions of pennies were struck that year, certain features and variations of the 1992 D Lincoln cent have made it a subtle favorite among collectors. To understand why this coin matters, we have to step back into the early 1990s. The United States was experiencing a period of economic change and technological advancement. Coin production continued to supply the nation with small denominations necessary for everyday transactions, but the materials and processes had evolved. By 1992, the Lincoln penny was composed primarily of copper-plated zinc. This change, which had begun in 1982, allowed the mint to produce coins more efficiently and with less reliance on the more expensive copper that had dominated the composition for decades. The design of the 1992 D Lincoln penny is instantly recognizable. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's profile gazes solemnly forward, a design first introduced in 1909 to commemorate his 100th birthday. The back features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in use since 1959. But it's not just the images that make this coin noteworthy. Collectors pay close attention to subtle differences in the strike, variations in mint marks, and minor errors that may occur during production. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1992 D penny is the series of small errors that can make certain coins surprisingly valuable. Some coins exhibit double dies, a type of error where the design elements appear to be slightly duplicated, creating a blurry or shadowed effect. Others might have small anomalies in the mint mark itself, where the letter D appears larger, smaller, or even faint in comparison to other coins. These details are invisible to the casual observer but can dramatically increase a coin's desirability among collectors. Despite being a relatively recent issue, the 1992 D Lincoln penny can be considered rare in certain forms. While millions were minted, coins with these error features are far less common. For instance, A genuine 1992 penny with a pronounced double die on the obverse can command prices much higher than face value, sometimes reaching hundreds of dollars depending on the coin's condition and clarity of the error. Even without an error, well-preserved pennies from this year, especially those in uncirculated or near-perfect condition, are sought after by collectors looking to complete their Lincoln cent sets. Real-world examples help illustrate this. In recent years, auction listings have shown that a 1992 penny with a noticeable double die could sell for over $200, while coins graded in pristine mint state without errors can fetch anywhere from $1 to $5 from collectors seeking to fill gaps in their collections. These numbers may not rival the millions commanded by rare older pennies, but they highlight the fact that even relatively modern coins can carry value when specific traits are present. The hunt for these pennies has made coin collecting accessible to beginners and exciting for seasoned collectors alike. For those interested in identifying a genuine 1992 Lincoln penny, it helps to know what to look for. The coin should have a clear D mint mark just below the date, and the edges should be smooth, with no irregularities in the rim. When examining for errors, magnification can reveal subtle doubling on Lincoln's profile, the lettering, or the date. Counterfeit or altered coins are extremely rare for this particular penny, but careful observation, comparison to verified examples, and consulting with grading services or experienced collectors can ensure authenticity. Always remember, subtle differences can be the difference between an everyday penny and a collectible treasure. Beyond its numismatic value, the 1992 penny has some fun and surprising details. For instance, because it's made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating, dropping the coin often results in a slightly different sound than older, solid copper pennies. Some enthusiasts even enjoy the challenge of distinguishing this penny from others in their change by weight, sound, and appearance. Additionally, pennies from this era sometimes show unique toning patterns over time. Oxidation can create a range of colors from light reddish-brown to deep chocolate brown, giving each coin a personality of its own, and in some cases, a visually striking appearance that adds to its collector appeal. Collectors today love the 1992 Lincoln penny for several reasons. It's a modern coin that still allows for discovery. Unlike older, extremely rare pennies that may be out of reach for the average collector, a 1992 can often be found in circulation, in change jars, or even at local coin shops. The thrill comes from spotting a subtle error, finding a coin in near-perfect condition, or simply completing a collection of Lincoln cents from different years and mints. There's also a deeper connection, a tangible link to the history of American currency and the evolving story of the Lincoln penny, a design that has endured for over a century. The 1992 Lincoln penny may seem ordinary at first glance, but a closer look reveals a world of history, subtle design quirks, and the potential for real collector value. It serves as a reminder that even in modern times, coins can carry stories, capture curiosity, and provide a rewarding experience for those willing to explore them. The next time you reach for a penny, take a moment to examine it. See if it bears a mint mark you haven't noticed, or a tiny irregularity that hints at a hidden treasure. Even the most common coins can surprise you. So, the question remains, could the pennies in your pocket or jar hold more than just small change? Could one of them be a 1992 Lincoln penny with a hidden story waiting to be discovered? Start looking closely, because the next remarkable find could be just a pocket away, a silent witness to history, a small coin with a big story. The 1992 Lincoln penny isn't just change. It's a journey into the past, a collectible with quiet value, and perhaps a future treasure waiting to be recognized. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks like every other penny in your pocket, but could quietly be worth hundreds of dollars or more. That ordinary little copper disc might be hiding a story few people know. A story of rarity, history, and the fascinating world of coin collecting. Today, we're diving deep into one such coin, the 1997 Lincoln penny, exploring why it has captured the attention of collectors and casual observers alike. By the end of this video, you'll understand what makes this penny unique, how to spot a genuine one, and why it continues to intrigue those who hunt for hidden treasures in everyday change. The 1997 D Lincoln penny, minted in Denver, is part of the long-standing series of Lincoln cents that have been produced since 1909. This series is one of the most recognizable in American history, featuring the 16th President of the United States on the front and a variety of designs on the back over the decades. The 1997 D penny, specifically, belongs to the wheat-free era, featuring the Lincoln Memorial on its reverse, a design that had been in circulation since 1959. At first glance, it might seem like a standard coin, easily overlooked as just another penny in circulation. But beneath its familiar surface lies a combination of historical context, minting details, and collector interest that makes it more than ordinary. To understand this coin, we need to place it in its historical frame. By 1997, the United States Mint had been producing Lincoln cents for nearly 9 decades. The Denver Mint, responsible for the D mint mark, was producing millions of coins each year, intended mainly for everyday transactions. The late 1990s were a period of high production numbers. Yet certain pennies from this era gained attention due to specific characteristics that made them stand out. While most 1997 D pennies were circulated widely and remained common, particular varieties or uncirculated examples have become noteworthy to collectors. This penny represents a small piece of American history, bridging the gap between everyday commerce and the meticulous hobby of numismatics, the study of coins. The 1997 D penny may seem simple, but it has several interesting features. First, the coin is composed of a copper-plated zinc alloy, a change that the U.S. Mint made starting in 1982. The outer layer is pure copper, while the core is mostly zinc. This gives the penny its classic appearance while reducing production costs. On the obverse or front, you'll find Abraham Lincoln facing right with the word Liberty to his left and the date to his right. The Denver Mint mark, the letter D, sits just below the date, indicating it was minted in Denver, Colorado. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial stands prominently, a symbol of unity and history, with the words United States of America and E pluribus unum above. While the design itself is familiar, collectors often search for subtle differences, imperfections, or minting errors that can transform a common penny into something much more valuable. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1997 D penny is the variety of errors that have been documented. Some pennies display double die characteristics, where the lettering or numbers appear slightly doubled. Others may have die cracks, raised lines, or unusual striking flaws that occurred during the minting process. These errors are not found on every coin, which is why they command interest among collectors. Even a minor anomaly can elevate a coin's desirability. For instance, a misaligned strike or a double date can turn a few cents into hundreds of dollars at auction, depending on its rarity and condition. Understanding these subtle features is key for anyone curious about collecting Lincoln pennies. So, why might a 1997 D penny be considered rare or valuable? The answer lies primarily in its condition and potential errors. Most pennies from 1997 were circulated and show signs of wear, which diminishes their value. However, coins that remain in uncirculated condition, exhibiting sharp details and full luster, are more appealing to collectors. Additionally, any penny with a confirmed minting error, whether it's a double die, off-center strike, or unusual planchet flaw, can attract significant attention. Collectors often seek these coins because they are a limited snapshot of the minting process, capturing imperfections that the mint itself usually tries to avoid. These rare examples are the ones that turn an ordinary 1997 D penny into a sought-after collectible. Real-life sales provide a clear picture of this penny's potential value. While a standard circulated 1997 D penny might only be worth a few cents above its face value, uncirculated examples in top condition can fetch several dollars, sometimes even more. Coins with verified errors have sold at auctions for significantly higher prices. For example, a 1997 D penny with a noticeable double die or die crack could sell for $50 to $200, depending on the severity and visibility of the error. Rare varieties are carefully cataloged by professional coin grading services, which authenticate and grade coins on a scale that ranges from 1 to 70. The higher the grade, the more pristine the coin, and often the higher its auction value. These sales illustrate the exciting potential of coins that most people overlook in their everyday change. Identifying a genuine 1997 D penny requires a careful eye. First, examine the mint mark and date for clarity. The Denver D should appear sharp, and the numbers should be crisp. Coins that seem unusually thick, light, or unevenly colored may warrant further inspection, as counterfeit or altered coins can occasionally appear in the market. Collectors also recommend checking for known error characteristics, such as doubling or raised lines, using a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Comparing your coin to reference images from reputable sources can help confirm authenticity. If in doubt, professional coin grading and authentication services provide an authoritative answer and can protect both collectors and sellers from uncertainty. There are also some fun and surprising details about this penny that make it more than just a piece of currency. Did you know that the Lincoln cent has appeared on American coins longer than any other design? The 1997 D penny continues this long tradition, and every coin tells a story of how money, art, and history intersect. Another fascinating point is that some coins from this era may exhibit slight differences in color or sheen due to variations in the copper plating process. Some pennies might have a brighter, almost reddish tone, while others appear darker. These subtle distinctions can help collectors distinguish between coins that have been stored carefully and those that have circulated heavily. Collectors today love the 1997 D penny for several reasons. Its connection to the enduring Lincoln cent series makes it historically significant. Its potential for errors offers a chance to own a coin that is unique, even among millions minted in the same year. And its relatively recent production means that uncirculated coins are still accessible, allowing new collectors to begin their journey without chasing century-old coins. The 1997 D penny serves as a reminder that collecting doesn't always require antique coins or extravagant purchases. Sometimes, treasures can be found in the most ordinary places. In conclusion, the 1997 D Lincoln. Welcome back. Imagine holding a small piece of history in the palm of your hand, a coin so ordinary that most people overlook it, yet so unusual that collectors would pay a premium just to own it. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing modern rarities in American coin collecting, the 2004 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it might look like every other penny you've ever seen, but a closer look reveals a story worth uncovering. The 2004 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a variation of the Lincoln cent, a coin that has been part of American life for over a century. The Lincoln penny itself was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. Over the years, its design has evolved, yet the Lincoln profile has remained iconic. The 2004 penny is part of this long tradition, yet it stands out because most 2004 pennies were produced with a small D mint mark, indicating the Denver Mint, or a P for the Philadelphia Mint. A penny with no mint mark from that year is unusual, sparking curiosity among collectors everywhere. So why was this coin made? And why do some exist without a mint mark? In 2004, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies for circulation. The majority carried mint marks to show their origin, but some pennies were accidentally struck without a mint mark due to a production oversight. These errors are rare in modern coins because minting processes are highly automated and closely monitored. When such an error slips through, it becomes a unique artifact, a coin that shouldn't technically exist in that form. That rarity is what makes the 2004 no mint mark penny so interesting. Let's explore the features of this coin. The 2004 Lincoln penny is made primarily of copper-plated zinc, a change that began in 1982 to reduce production costs. It weighs just 2.5 grams and measures 19 millimeters across. The obverse, or front, features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has adorned the penny since 1909. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, a design that first appeared in 1959, replacing the wheat ears of earlier pennies. On a standard 2004 penny, you would see a tiny D for Denver or P for Philadelphia just below the date. The no mint mark version lacks this tiny letter, which immediately signals that it is part of an error batch. Some coins may also show slight variations in strike quality or positioning, making each one slightly different from the next. But why is this penny rare? In the world of coin collecting, rarity isn't just about age. It's about scarcity, mistakes, and stories. The 2004 no-mint mark penny is considered rare because only a small number were ever made, and even fewer survived in good condition. Most pennies get lost in circulation or handled so much that their value diminishes. A well-preserved 2004 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a window into a moment in minting history that almost never happened. For collectors, owning one is like holding a piece of the unexpected. Real-life examples show how valuable these coins can be. While standard 2004 pennies are worth just a fraction of a cent over face value, a 2004 no-mint mark in uncirculated condition can fetch anywhere from several hundred to over $1,000, depending on its grade and condition. There have even been instances where coins certified by professional grading services, showing sharp details and perfect surfaces, sold at auction for prices that made ordinary pennies seem like treasure. For anyone who thought modern coins couldn't hold value, this is proof that rarity can emerge even in the 21st century. So how can you tell if a 2004 no-mint mark penny is genuine? First, examine the area beneath the date. A regular penny from Denver will have a D, and from Philadelphia a P. On a no-mint mark coin, this letter is absent. The edges, weight, and diameter should match standard specifications for a 2004 penny. Some counterfeits exist, often created by scraping off a mint mark, so be cautious. Look for signs of tampering, like scratches or unusual coloring, and if in doubt, consult a professional coin grader. A true 2004 no-mint mark penny will have clean, consistent surfaces and a natural luster that comes from careful minting. There are also some fun and surprising details about this coin. For example, while most people focus on the missing mint mark, numismatists, those who study coins, also look at the quality of the strike and the alignment of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Some error coins from this year show slight doubling of letters or off-center strikes, adding even more layers of rarity. Interestingly, many collectors first discover this coin in rolls of pennies, long after they've been released, which adds a sense of treasure hunting to the experience. You never know when you might stumble upon one hidden in loose change. Collectors today are drawn to the 2004 no-mint mark Lincoln penny for more than just potential financial gain. It represents a modern mystery, a reminder that even in an age of mass production, errors can happen, and history can leave traces in the smallest objects. For many, it's about storytelling, the idea that a coin in your pocket could be a rare piece of numismatic history. It also offers a sense of connection, linking everyday Americans with the legacy of Abraham Lincoln and the ongoing story of the U.S. Mint. Every time a collector examines one, they're not just looking at metal, they're holding a moment in time that nearly didn't exist. In the end, the 2004 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a conversation starter, a collectible, and a tangible link to the unexpected quirks of history. Whether you're a casual hobbyist or a serious collector, finding one sparks curiosity. It challenges assumptions, reminds us to look closer at the world around us, and proves that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary stories. Next time you sort through your change, take a moment to check the pennies. You never know when a small, seemingly simple coin could turn into a rare and fascinating discovery, so keep your eyes open, treasure your finds, and remember that history often comes in the smallest, most surprising forms. The 2004 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that even in a world of billions of coins, a few can still stand apart, waiting to tell their story. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance, just a simple penny, yet it carries a story that connects nearly every American to over a century of history. Today, we're diving deep into one of those unassuming treasures, the 2006 mint mark Lincoln penny. It might seem like just another penny in your pocket, but this small piece of copper has a story that can surprise even the most casual coin enthusiasts. By the end of this video, you might start looking at your spare change in a completely new way. The 2006 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of Lincoln cents, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Unlike many coins that change frequently, the Lincoln penny has maintained a sense of continuity for over 100 years, making it a fascinating piece of American history. The D mint mark tells us something specific. This penny was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary mints in the United States. The coin's modest face value masks a rich history and a subtle appeal that makes collectors' eyes light up to understand why the 2006 Lincoln penny is interesting. we need to step back to the context of its production. In 2006, the United States was still using the zinc core penny with a thin copper plating that had been standard since 1982. This was a significant change from earlier pennies, which were mostly copper. The shift from solid copper to a copper-plated zinc planchet was largely a cost-saving measure, as copper prices had risen substantially. So while the 2006 penny might look like the pennies of previous decades, it actually represents a newer, modern era in U.S. coinage. The design of the 2006 penny continues the long tradition started by Victor David Brenner in 1909. The obverse, or front of the coin, features Abraham Lincoln in profile, looking dignified and thoughtful. He has occupied this spot for over a century, a consistent reminder of the nation's 16th president. The reverse side of the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that replaced the earlier wheat ears design in 1959, commemorating Lincoln's 150th birthday. Every detail, from Lincoln's coat to the tiny inscriptions around the edge, reflects careful craftsmanship. Even though it may seem ordinary, every line has historical significance. But what really makes the 2006 Lincoln penny catch a collector's attention are the subtle variations and potential errors that can exist. While most 2006 pennies were struck correctly, a small number of them might display minor minting anomalies, such as off-center strikes or double die impressions. These errors are rare and, when verified, can significantly increase the coin's value. Another point of interest is the composition of the coin itself. With a 97.5% zinc core and only 2.5% copper plating, it reacts differently to wear and corrosion than older, pure copper pennies. This can make well-preserved examples even more desirable for collectors who value condition and appearance. So, why exactly is the 2006 penny considered rare or valuable? In general, pennies from this year are not exceedingly scarce, but a few factors can create notable value. First, coins in uncirculated or proof condition, those that have never been used in everyday transactions, tend to attract collectors. The minting process at the Denver Mint is known for producing high-quality strikes, and coins that avoid circulation damage can command higher prices. Second, specific errors or varieties, as we mentioned, can transform an otherwise common coin into a prized collectible. Even subtle features like die cracks or doubled letters can make a big difference. To illustrate this with real-world examples, there have been recent auctions where 2006 Lincoln pennies with unique characteristics sold for impressive amounts. For instance, an uncirculated 2006 penny with a slight off-center strike recently sold for over $20, a remarkable figure for a coin that normally trades for a few cents. Other coins, particularly those with proof-like qualities or unusual toning, have been reported to fetch anywhere from $5 to $50, depending on their rarity and condition. These figures may not seem astronomical, but for a 1-cent coin, they reveal the unexpected value hidden in everyday objects. If you're curious about finding a genuine 2006 Lincoln penny, there are a few things to look for. First, check the mint mark itself. The letter D should be clear, sharp, and located just above the date on the obverse side of the coin. On fake coins, the mint mark can sometimes appear irregular or blurry. Second, examine the coin's surface. Real coins will have the characteristic copper-plated zinc appearance, with a solid but slightly lighter weight than older copper pennies. Finally, inspect the edges and overall design for accuracy. Collectors often use magnification to confirm details like the Lincoln Memorial lines on the reverse or the precise lettering around the edge. These careful observations can help separate genuine coins from reproductions or low-quality counterfeits. Beyond the technical aspects, the 2006 penny carries some fun and surprising details. For example, did you know that the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse is so finely detailed that you can actually see a tiny statue of Lincoln in the center if you look closely? This tiny feature is often missed by casual observers, but is a delightful Easter egg for collectors. Another interesting fact is that the Denver Mint, responsible for striking the D coins, has a rich history dating back to 1906. It produces millions of coins every day, yet each one carries subtle nuances that make it unique. Even in a modern production year like 2006, these coins reflect over a century of minting tradition and innovation. Collectors love the 2006 Lincoln penny not only for its historical context but also for its role as a bridge between the past and the present. Unlike older pennies, which are often rare due to age, the 2006 is appreciated for its condition, subtle errors, and the story it tells about modern American coinage. It's a coin that demonstrates how even small, everyday objects can carry layers of history, artistry, and intrigue. For those who build coin collections, it represents both a challenge and a reward. Finding a coin in pristine condition or spotting a rare error feels like uncovering a hidden treasure in plain sight. As we reflect on the 2006 Lincoln penny, it's easy to see why collectors are captivated. It may look like any other penny in your pocket, but every curve, every detail, and every variation tells a story. It's a reminder that history isn't only in museums or books. It's in the coins that pass through our hands every day. So next time you drop a penny into a jar or notice a coin on the sidewalk, consider this. One small piece of metal could hold a story that connects you to generations of Americans, past and present. What hidden treasures are waiting to be discovered in the change you carry? The next time you see a Lincoln penny, take a closer look. That 2006 coin may be more than just a penny. It could be a key to the fascinating world of American coins, history, and the thrill of discovery that collectors cherish. You never know, the coin you dismiss as ordinary might be the very piece that sparks curiosity, teaches a lesson in history, and ignites a lifelong passion for collecting. In a world where treasures often come in surprising forms, sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest stories.